Hi everyone, it's Kiri here, and this is my last layout for 2023. I'm using a couple of new sets from the shop, the Eat, Drink, Be Merry set and the Festive Stars and Hearts set, and then a couple of Paper Snips, a newer one and an older one. So, okay, so I've pulled out the Hip Kit Club November kit. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Like a tongue teaser, isn't it? One of it's saying Hip Kit Club. Anyway, I pulled out a few of the pattern papers and a piece of white card. And I've trimmed my white card down to, I think it was 11.5 inches. And then I'm going to use this sort of dusty green as a frame. But I'd obviously, typically, the one I'd decide to use as frame, I'd cut a chunk out of the corner. So I'm just going to make piece to go in there, but so easily fixed, it's not a problem. I know it's not quite the right orientation, but with the white cardstock on, once that's stuck over, it's fine, and I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to stick that together, and then I can get going with my layout. So I've got as I said, I'm using some of the new sets from the shop. So we've got the Eat, Drink and Be Merry set, and that's the lovely red title that I'm going to use for my layout. It gives a really nice pop against the white card. And in that set, you also comes with the Oh What Fun title perspective in a really nice sort of tealy blue. So it's a great set for this sort of documenting this time of the year, whether it's Christmas or parties you've been to, in New Year. Yeah, definitely sort of suits quite a lot of things that will have been going on across the festive season. Okay, so I've got the white card down. Now I distress the edges. I grabbed a pair of scissors and, if you're a little bit too heavy-handed, I got a little bit of a bigger rip than I wanted there down that right side, but that's okay. I sort of cover it slightly anyway, a little bit later on. So I've got my photo and I'm just using a landscape photo. And then I decided I was going to create sort of a tree down the left side using loops. I've seen, different versions of this around, and I quite like the idea of making a large Christmas tree as a feature for my layout. So I'm just cutting strips. I think I use 4-inch strips, half an inch wide. And then I'm just sticking them together, and then I've got that sort of loop, and I'm going to pick out 3 different pattern papers. So I've got this one here with the holly on in a sort of pale light green, and then I'm going to use the same paper that I use for the frame for the border. And then I've got another paper. It's not really a red, it's a bit of a corally red, so it's a bit softer. Here you go, you can see it, it's not stuck down yet. I'm sort of playing around with placement, but I'm just going to get those sort of stuck down. So I'll work my way through that. So then I'm just sort of building them up, and I'll layer them over each other, and I do sort of fiddle around a little bit, just making sure I have got those perfectly, well, not straight, because I want them to be slightly curved, but of course I want them to be, they need to look perfect, of course, because I couldn't possibly have something that is a little bit wonky or not quite right. So anyway, so I'm just working my way through there, just mixing up the 3 patterns as I go, work my way across each layer on the tree. And then I once I've got all of that down, that's sort of the main part of the layout done, and it's really just adding my photo and embellishing. So yeah, this was the bit that I fiddled around a little bit with it, and I'm not going to show all of it here on video, so because it does take me a little while and I do fuss around with it, and I think I actually ended up 4 strips to go into the tree. But it's really effective. It's really cute. You could do this sort of on a card, actually. It's really nice. And I like the dimension that you get from using the loops for the tree. So, yeah, so I'm going to continue doing that. And here we go. It is all done. And you can see that nice dimension that we get. And then I'm going to start to build on the photo and embellishments. So I've got to have a base for my tree, of course. So I've got just a piece of pattern paper that's sort of in a light craft type colour, just to stress the edges, and then that'll sit down the bottom. I'm pulling out, I've got some of those perspectives. So these are the Festive Stars and Hearts. So you've got red and green. It's a dark green and the nice red in the stars and the hearts, and there's also a gold in there as well. So I'm going to use the large open red heart for the top of the tree, and then I am going to add some of the stars as like little embellishments on the tree. Oh, I've got a few little parcels there from the ephemera to match the pattern paper that I'm going to add at the bottom of the tree as well. Couldn't have parcels. You couldn't have a tree without parcels, could you? So there we go. Some of the perspectives, I'm just placing them there. I've also got this red pom-pom trim that was in my hip kit, and I've just decided I'm going to use that as like my garland around the tree. So I'm just cutting strips of that, and then I'll work that around. I'll just get that stuck down, and work that around, and then I can add in those extra bits and pieces around it, so the sort of perspective stars, and I'll add a few other bits and pieces as well. So a bit like, the decorations on my tree. So I'm using glossy accents. I think you could use a wet glue, any sort of wet glue that's nice strong hold, really. And then I'm just using that and sort of almost like it's wrapping it around the tree. So, sticking it down on an angle. And there you go, all done. I've mounted my photo on some of the same dark sort of dusty green pattern paper, and I'm just adding foam pads to the top of it just to get some dimension there and keeping it flat at the bottom. And I've also stuck down my parcels at the bottom of the tree as well. So I just actually trimmed the white border around them a little bit more because it's quite a wide white border. It's pure, it's just, personal taste really. So they're stuck down, and I layered some of them with foam pads as well for that extra dimension. So now I'm getting the little stars stuck down, just using some glossy accents, fiddling around about where they're actually going to go. As per usual, I do just like to make sure that I'm happy with placement before I get it stuck down, but that doesn't often mean I'm moving things around a lot. Okay, so, and then I get the title down now because that's going to sit right under my photo, and it says "Eat, drink, and be merry," and that is exactly what I was doing. The photo is of me and my old Disney store team. And we're still all in contact, even though we all finished with the Disney stores 2 years ago. 2 years ago, very scary. That can't believe it's gone by so quickly. And but we do get together throughout the year, and we do always have an annual Christmas get together because we always do Secret Santa. So so we were in London in the Tattershall Castle, which is sort of a pub boat on the Thames near Embankment. We had lovely views across the Thames, across to the London Eye. And it's really fun to catch up with those guys and keep in touch. So we had a really fun night. So there was definitely eating, drinking, and being merry. So it was the perfect title. Just adding in a few more embellishments into my tree. So I've got some of the little wooden buttons there. And then I'm pulling out some of the paper snips. Now, this one is the Paper Snips number 50 that came with the December Fox box. And I am going to use a few of the phrases. So I've got the fa la la at the top, the little tab, and then I have the twinkle all the way, all together, and oh Christmas tree are the little strips. And I'm cutting a few of these ones here again in that sort of craft colour. And I've got jolly good time, and there's one other there, the one there, but I don't actually use that one in the end. I'm just going to use this one here, jolly good time. So I'm fiddling around with where they're all going to sit. And as typical, I'll move things around quite a lot until I'm absolutely happy with it. Now I've pulled out these slightly older paper snips. These are number 15, and I'm punching a few of these out because I couldn't quite decide which ones I was going to use. I've got the sort of star, I've got the one at the bottom there which says fun stuff, and then I've got a snowman here. And I did play around. Oh, that's right, I also punched the fa la la, but the green just didn't sit right. So I end up only using the fun stuff down the bottom on the left there, but things won't sit exactly as they are now. I'm fiddling around with some other embellishment elements from the Hip Kit Club kit, but they don't make it onto the layout. So so just playing around here with what I have and what more I want to actually add to the layout. So I think it'll move on in just a moment. Yes, here we go. Okay, what have I done? Okay, Right, I've decided where things are going and I'm just going to get them stuck down. So I'm just sticking the Jolly Good Time up the top there and just tucking that under the edge of the photo. And then I've got the Fa La La tab and I've just popped that there. Now, when I've added glue just to the top edge and I've just sort of curved the bottom of it. Again, I prefer not to have everything flat. So I just like that dimension. And then I've added the Fun Stuff epoxy flare. So I stuck the clear um, dome sticker over the top to create that little like flare button. And then I've tucked in a few leaves up the top. I've pulled in a few little hearts as well from the Festive Stars and Hearts set, just in the gold, and I'm just adding those to that bottom present cluster and next to my Eat, Drink and Be Merry title. So it's coming together. There's not too much more to do. Oh, that's right. I've got my little phrases here and I've decided that they are going to sit there. But I've been distracted and I've pulled out some of the silver stickers that I have here. And I'm just pulling out, there's some silver stars and some silver dots. And I'm actually going to add quite a few of those into the tree. What would a Christmas tree be without some sparkle? So there's definitely adding quite a bit of that into here. And just because I had the silver stars at the top in the background, and I just felt I needed to add some more silver into the layer as well. So that's getting added into the tree. And then I will add my journaling underneath the Eat, Drink and Be Merry. Now, and then I think that's pretty much, where I'm at. There was a couple of things I did after I finished thought I'd finished the layer. I did decide to add in a few more of the silver dots around the presents at the bottom of the tree, and then next to the gold heart with the Eat, Drink and Be Merry, and up in the top cluster near the photo. And I also added a couple of extra coloured hearts, heart perspective as well. So here you go. Here's the final layer, and there's the dark green heart that I added there, and I added another small red heart to the bottom of the layer as well. So here's all the close-ups. I hope you've enjoyed watching the process video. And from me, I'm just going to say have fun celebrating the new year, and I will see you back in 2024. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.